I feel the need to shuffle these cards some more, so I'm going to shuffle them. We're going to dive right in. So I'm going to take these cards. I am going to knock on them 4 times for 2024. And we are going to see what these cards have to offer. So I'm going to do this Celtic card spread, and actually, if I can, I will bring the camera down more so that you can see me pulling here. So when we do a Celtic card spread, the very first card that we pull is setting the foundation for the entire reading. And I'm actually going to interpret these cards as I pull them instead of pulling them all at once. Usually I pull all the cards and then I interpret, but for tonight, for the sake of this transmission, I'm going to be just doing one at a time. So this very first card that I pull is going to set the foundation for this entire reading. It is the card that we need to pay attention to for 2024. What is the universe going to give me? The Ace of Wands. You can't make it up, you know, and I'm just going to lift it up here. The Ace of Wands is what I pulled. I'm going to bring that up to you so that you can see it. And what a beautiful, wonderful card for 2024. And I really feel like this is the card of 2024. I've been talking to a lot of my friends, talking to a lot of my spiritual advisors, and everybody seems to think that this is the year that we're all expanding. This is the year that we're really crafting and honing in on our gifts, our skills, and it's all going to be supported. So anytime we have an ace card, it is about fresh new beginnings. And of course, we have this brand new year ahead of us. And when we have the wands, we are talking about our skills, our magic, our craft, anything that we do that not only brings us joy, because you have to pay attention to the colors of the card as well. We have yellow for solar plexus, which is your joy, and also a little bit of your work professionally. And then we have the green square, which is your heart energy. So this card is very much saying that it is time to use your gifts, your skills, your craft to bring more joy into your life and to help create a life that you truly love. Great card to be in our reading with. Now, our second card that we're pulling is going to be what comes across our way this year, or maybe what's going to cross us this year. With that, we are getting the Four of Cups. Now, anytime we have a 4, this is going to be about heartfelt matters, and this card is pink, which is also the color of the heart chakra. When we have the cups, we are dealing with emotion. There's almost an excess of emotion that we're needing to manage. So with this coming as our cross card, I believe that this is warning us that we are going to have some sort of emotionally challenging experience around trying to expand our gifts, or around trying to be more professional with our skills and our craft. There could be some emotional challenges with that. Now, the cups do also represent relationship. And when we have the 4, it could be relationships with parents. It could be relationships with children. It's not necessarily a partnership, friendship, romantic relationship, but it is possibly some sort of maybe family relationship that could be challenging as well. I know that a lot of us, when we work to expand into our gifts, expand into our joy, when it's not necessarily aligned with the modern world or the typical world's fashion, we tend to have a little bit of backlash around that. When people don't understand our journey, when they don't understand how we can be successful at our journey, we sometimes get questioning and a pressure to not pursue that thing that we have joy around, and maybe to conform more to a mold or a box of where people think we should be. So this is just some of the possibilities that could come this way. Also, we have to take into account the number of 4 here. 4 could represent the 4th month of the year, or it could be the 4th quarter. So you might look back at the end of this year and have some sort of emotional experience, you might reach the end of this year and have some sort of emotional experience, or you might have something coming around in the springtime as you start to unthaw from winter and move into more of your creative energy. Now, our next card is going to be whatever is going to set our foundation for 2024, whatever is going to root us in and help ground us. For this one, I'm literally just pulling off the top of the deck, by the way. We have the Four of Swords. So again, we have a 4. This is coming up twice now, and we're in the year 2024. So I have no doubt that this is definitely the reading for us and for the year. The Four of Swords, if you notice, the swords are pointing down here. Again, we have this pink energy of the heart, and we literally have the red square of the root chakra. This is our rooting, grounding, foundational card, and we have the root chakra showing up. Now, again, we have the 4. 4, we already talked about, can be, you know, maybe those relationships with family, with parents, with children. When you have the swords, this is about cutting a tie or setting a boundary. And I do believe it's about setting a boundary more than cutting a tie, simply because the swords are pointed down. Some of these cards have the swords pointing up, and that usually represents more of a severance. But when the swords are pointing down, it's about, you know, kind of setting up this little energetic fence around you, or putting your sword in the ground and drawing a line in the sand and setting that boundary and saying, this is it, you know, this is where the line gets crossed or not crossed. So as you move into this year where you are working on your gifts, when you're working to expand into your beautiful, blessed gifts that you were given in this beautiful body and life of yours, you might have a little bit of struggle with your family. You're going to have to set some boundaries. You might have to, you know, have some relationships reform, the bonds retie. But this is the thing that will ground you and set the foundation for your year. So remember that these boundaries are important. And I do believe that this is the year that we all learn to say no as a complete sentence. Sometimes I feel like the Four of Swords is simply the word no. And that's all we need to say sometimes. So let that soak in, take that into account. The lesson that we've already learned will be in this next card. What have we already learned? 3 of Pentacles. Okay, so we're moving on to some good energy here. We have the Pentacles, which are all about wealth, abundance, health, harvest, you know, all kinds of good stuff. Anytime we have the 3, there's a couple of different things there. Number 1, we're working with transformation. So we have already learned how to transform the way that we make money. Perhaps we did something different in the past, and now we're learning to do something in a different way, but it's something we've also done before. Now remember, this is a reading for the collective, but this reading is only going to apply to the people that tune into it. So yeah, it could be easy to say that everybody has been working on transforming and changing the way that they make money, but that might not necessarily be true for every single person, right? The people that tune into this reading right now are going to be the people that are seeking a change. They are looking to design a life where they have more of their crafts and skills at the forefront, where their gifts are supported. So this 3 of Pentacles is telling you that you kind of already know what this journey is going to be like. Like there's going to be some emotional challenges. You're going to have to set some boundaries. You might have to cut some cords with people. But in the end, it produces more abundance. Okay. We also have to take into account the colors of the card. So we have this yellow, which is again your solar plexus. This is more of your professional pursuits and what brings you joy. And then we have the orange square. Orange is about creativity. It's also about relationship. So I do believe this card is letting us know that as we make this change into pursuing a new profession, or maybe just trying to create more stability using our gifts in the world, that there's going to be kind of a deep change that comes with it. So you probably will be on the other side of it once you're once you're living with like just using your gifts and using your skills, there might be a situation where you feel like you have to completely redesign your life. Like you might have to have new people in your life and let old people go. You might have to completely shift your habits. You might have to put yourself in a different location. You know, there's just going to be some transformation that happens as you start to make this change for this year. Our next card is going to describe the highest thing coming our way, our highest achievement, highest opportunity, highest wisdom, highest lesson. What does the universe have in store for us in 2024? Queen of Swords. So we've got these swords again, right? And here's more of this pink energy and more of this red energy. And the red is related to the swords again. And whenever we have the Queen of Swords, this is somebody that is ruling their life by setting boundaries. They do not have stress and distress in their life because they set boundaries around their energy. And again, you have to take into account this Four of Swords, right? We already got told that setting boundaries and maybe even cutting ties is what is going to set our foundation. The colors are exactly the same now, just opposite in the reading. Our highest lesson to learn is that process of setting the boundaries and cutting the cords. You are going to live a much more sovereign life when you can powerfully say no and be okay with it. When you can just say no and you don't feel like you need to have an explanation and you don't hold guilt or shame. When you can do that, that's when you truly feel like you're in control of your life. So the Queen of Swords is showing up now to tell us, hey, it's okay to say no. It's okay to set those boundaries. She's got her hand up. She's saying like, stop, no, this is not okay. So don't be afraid to express what's not okay in 2024. The more you learn to say no, the more your joy will grow. Finally, what is around the corner for us in this year? Judgment. You can't make this up. You saw me shuffle the cards like 1,000 times, right? What did I talk about here with this Four of Cups? Judgment, right? We may get judged as we shift our life, as we start to transform and do things differently and hang out with different people and maybe put ourselves in different locations. We might be judged for it. We might be judged by our family, especially parents, children, or family in general, caretakers. Not everybody is going to understand your journey, and that is okay. The Judgment card is the angels kind of blowing the trumpet before Judgment Day. That's what this card is representing. But it's also telling us that it's okay to take the journey. It's okay to do things differently despite the judgment. Notice all the water in the background of the card. This is advising us to go with the flow, to flow through it, to breathe through it, move through it. Let it all pass without you feeling like you have to explain, you have to retaliate, you have to defend, without feeling like you have to disregard your dreams or abandon this pursuit around your gifts and skills. Don't do it. Don't let that judgment affect you, because that is the thing that is around the corner for us. And I do believe as we move on into the future, we are becoming highly divided, even in the spiritual world. And there's a lot of judgment out there now with everything. I mean, we could bring up a topic and there's absolutely going to be judgment around it. So, judgment isn't going away anytime soon. But remember, amongst all of this, the important thing is to not only let the judgment of others roll off of you like water, but also not judge yourself, right? This may be a hard lesson to embody in 2024. If you are making changes and pursuing something that's a little bit different from the norm, there might be some self-judgment there. Like, oh, what will people think of me? Will I even succeed? What am I doing? Am I crazy? Etc. There's going to be judgment when you have family and friends and people in your life that don't understand you, questioning your journey, wondering why you're doing this. That's going to bring about more judgment in the whole situation and make you feel like maybe you need to, again, set your dream aside. There could be judgment from the world. Maybe what you do is something that society does not understand, or maybe it doesn't align with society. Remember that we're in the age of Aquarius. It is time for new ideas, new shifts, new perspectives, and new ways of living. So let go of the judgments, hold yourself in the highest grace, and continue to pursue your dreams no matter what anybody else thinks. I don't know about you, but I'm loving this reading for 2024. So we're going to finish out just with 4 generic cards. I'm going to pull them all at once and flip them. And you know what's also interesting? You know, for those of you that have tuned into my readings for a long time, I typically have some reversed cards come up. And we just pulled 10 cards and none of them are in reverse. None of them are in protection message. And I would say that that's a very good positive sign for the new year. So what do we have going on? Well, first I pulled another ace. I got the Ace of Pentacles. So not only do we have the Ace of Wands, we have the Ace of Pentacles, new ways of earning money, new ways of finding joy and creating joy, new ways of getting creative in general, tapping into our inner creativity and imagination, new earning potential, right? And it comes from you crafting your gifts and owning your uniqueness and doing what you love to do. Let's go on to the next 4 card. I again pulled a 4 card. Surprise, I got the 4 of Wands, okay? So let's talk about this. This is a little bit different. This is the number 4, talking about moving out of your heart again. So you absolutely want to be pursuing these dreams out of your heart. But when you get into the 4, you also need to make sure that you're a little bit balanced in the journey, okay? So as you pursue your magic, as you pursue your craft, don't get caught up in it too much. You still have to balance with the regular everyday world. You still have to operate in society. So try to find the balance of getting creative, working on your craft, working on your magic, letting that come out in the world, but also taking time to spend time within. Spend time with your heart, spend time with your energy, and continue to make sure with a constant check-in that you're on track. I do feel like this 4 is telling us to check in every quarter, every season. We need to do a little self-evaluation and ask ourselves if we're still aligned with our heart, if we're still living out of our joy, if we're still cultivating that type of energy as we move forward. And remember that we have all of these 4s coming up, so this might all start to come around in this next season. You might have to do a real hard check-in in April or May as you approach spring, because you might be dealing with some challenges. You might have to set some boundaries. And as you make all of those changes for the sake of transformation, you have to ask yourself if they're best for your joy. If you get rid of certain people in your life and cut ties, does that raise your heart frequency and your joy factor or not? As you continue to maybe decide where you need to be for this journey, do you need to be where you are now or relocate or travel? Do an evaluation and see what brings you joy. See what makes your heart flutter and your heart spark and ignite. So pay attention to the heart energy, because that's coming up a lot with this reading. And also pay attention to how your pursuits with your magic align with that heart energy and align with that joy. I'll just say it, to be honest, I've been teaching yoga for almost 12 years now, which is crazy to think about. But when I first started teaching yoga, I was in a much different place in my life. I, was just on a different journey. In these past 12 years, things have changed greatly. I am drastically a different person. I'm a mother now. I have a child. I've been married for 8 years. I own a business that I've ran for 7 years. There's just a lot that has changed. And with that, my heart, to be honest, is not 100% fully just in yoga. Do I love teaching yoga? Yes. Do I love practicing yoga? Yes. Do I love what the magic of yoga offers? 100%. But do I believe there could be more that I could offer? Yes. And so I've been doing a check-in myself with this new year and asking myself, how do I want to work? How do I want to spend my professional energy really creating things that I love to do, really going down paths that I enjoy? So, let that be kind of your guiding light as you're navigating the year. Let your joy factor always be a little bit of a indicator of where you are and where you need to be. Do you need to continue to stay on the path, or do you need to change so that you can be happier? The other card, or we have two more cards here, but the first card, I'm going to go back to the swords because we got swords again. We got the 9 of Swords. And if you notice, again, all of these swords are pointing down, right? So with this being a generic card in the reading, I believe that this is telling us there's going to be lots of boundaries to set over this next year. And in fact, you might set so many boundaries and cut so many ties that you're in a completely different life. You're a completely different person at the end of the year. 9 kind of represents wholeness, completedness, a finished cycle. And it's not necessarily the new beginnings of the next cycle. So this card is telling you that there are going to be some people in your life that you're just going to have to end the chapter with. You're going to have to cut that tie or set that boundary, but it's going to be a very strong severance or a very high wall or strong fence, because you have to do that in order to find more joy in what you're doing. The 9 of Swords can tell us that your foundation, like your stability, is going to feel more grounded when you get rid of all the people in your life that shake you up. All these people that are causing stress and tension and making you feel shame and making you question your journey, those people are shaking up your foundation. They keep you from staying with your footing in the ground. So you're going to have to learn this lesson of cutting the tie and setting the boundary. But if you do, it's really going to ground you into this next chapter and this next evolution of what's coming your way. Finally, we have the Knight of Pentacles. With Pentacles again, and whenever we have the Pentacles, it's all about that wealth, that abundance, money, 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 happiness, joy, all the good stuff. When we have the Knight, we're going into a little bit of a battle, okay? It's going to be challenging. It's going to be emotional, right? 4 of Cups, to go on this new or different pursuit. You are going to have emotional challenges, people that don't understand you. You might have to put your guard up and be in defense and feel like you have to explain things to people. But the 3 of Pentacles reminds you that no is a complete sentence, or you don't owe an explanation to anybody ever. You do you, boo. Go to battle. Do your thing. Keep fighting the good fight and keep working towards your joy. There's also the horse that the Knight is riding on, and there's a lot of orange in this card and a lot of yellow. This is telling you to trust your intuition, to trust your gut, to let your instincts take you on your journey. If you're on your journey and you feel spidey senses about people, or you see red flags waving, then you need to maybe cut a tie or set a boundary. If you are going along and you're trusting your gut and you're following your intuition and everything is just feeling really, really good, then you want to keep going with that energy. You want to keep riding that wave, so to say, right? But remember that judgments will come, but they will pass. Just keep riding and keep going on your journey. Keep following your path. Follow your path is a motto of mine, and it's kind of the motto of this reading. You do you, boo. say no when you need to, and continue to follow your path. All right, so this is our reading for 2024. Wow, really good one. I am going to make sure that I get a good picture of this, and then I will get everything posted on the website, and I will write a little bit more about this reading tonight and tomorrow.